Hey, what's up YouTube, Rock72, and today I have another video for you guys today. In today's video I'm going to be comparing the Honda OEM carburetors compared to the replicas that a lot of people buy online, either on eBay or Firepower Minis or anywhere like that. So, I'm just going to do an overview of each carburetor and then we'll go to the internals. So this is the OEM carburetor. It is from a Honda CRF 80. It is the Keihin PCP or PC20P. Now this is the replica of that carburetor. They're both Japanese carburetors. They're not Chinese. And this one is brand new and that one is not. So on the stock OEM carburetor, you see you have your idle screw here and your fuel screw here. Now these both have fuel screws. If they had air screws, they would be on the right side of the carburetor. And what these screws do is in these carburetors' case, they are fuel screws. So the more you turn them out, the more gas you're letting in. Now with the air screw, it's the complete opposite. The more you turn it out, the more the air comes in, and vice versa for turning them inwards. So the main difference right when you pick them up is you feel that the Honda OEM carburetor is about twice the weight of the replica. And another thing that is a big disadvantage for the Keihin carburetor, the stock OEM one, is that if you look here on the fuel mixture screw, it's supposed to be a screw, but it's not. It's just a stud. Whereas on the replica, it is a screw. And this poses a big problem for tuning your carburetor if you get any modifications such as an exhaust system, light and flywheel, any electrical changes or bigger motor or open air filter. So that poses a big problem, and the reason that Honda does that is so that people can't mess with their bikes and put those on it to keep emissions down. They have to do it. It's what they have to do in order to sell the bikes in California. So it's not their fault. They have to do it. They're just following the rules. But it does pose a big problem if you're going to try and modify your bike. I suggest that you either find a way to get the stud out and replace it with one of these screws, or just buy this carburetor, the replica of the PC20P. And the second main difference you'll notice is on the front, where the manifold is connected. Are going to be connected. These have, on the replica carburetor, it has cutouts. I don't know if that's to save weight or what, but just use less material maybe. But on this you can see it's just one whole piece, and this it's not. Now the O-rings are about the same quality, so there's no point in replacing them, or the replica one, with the Honda OEM one. They're about the same. And another main difference that you'll notice is the choke on the OEM carburetor sticks way far out, whereas the replica is nice and tucked in. On the OEM one, that poses another problem, because when you're trying to take off the carburetor from the manifold, it's very hard to reach with a wrench to disconnect the screw from the carburetor so that you can take it off from the manifold. Whereas on the replica, it's nice and compacted in there, so it doesn't get in the way. It's very easy for removal or cleaning for cleaning purposes. Also, on this carburetor, you can adjust the fuel mixture screw, so I suggest you start it 2 turns out and you work your way from there. That's the main setting for most bikes. Now, for the needle, the cylinders are almost identical. The needles are a little bit different, but not too big of a difference. And they're both set at the second clip from the bottom to allow a little bit more gas in. And that's another way you can adjust your Honda stock carburetor if you have that stud, is by either replacing the jets or adjusting the clip. So I'm going to open up both of these carburetors and we'll look at the internals. Now, as you can tell, on the inside of the float bowl, this is kind of dirty because this is a used carburetor and this is brand new. I just received it in the mail. So, differences in the float bowl, side by side, there really is none, as this is a replica and there's really no differences there. Now, there is on the inside. This is the OEM on the carburetor, and this is the replica. So okay. Now, as you can see, this is copper. The float bowl is copper on the OEM, and on the replica it's aluminum and plastic. Now, this is a higher quality material, so and it's more expensive, so I mean, what would you expect? This still works. There's really nothing wrong with it, and yeah. So these jets do not say the size, but I'm gonna guess it's anywhere from a 86 to a 100 main jet and a 36 to a 42 pilot. And in the OEM one, I know it's a 86 main and a 98 main and a 38 pilot. Now, this is the main jet and this is the pilot jet for those who don't know. And this is the float bowl, and you have the little piston down there that connects to the float bowl, which allows gas to come through into the float bowl. And the main jet is from half throttle on, and the pilot jet is from no throttle or idle to half throttle. And these well, this is obviously the stock one, so these they might be a little bit different jetting, considering this is the replica, not the exact thing, but I believe it would be relatively close. So that's really it for the carburetors themselves. Just a jetting tip for those people out there who are trying to jet their bike the right way. If you upgrade your pipe, that is going to be allowing more air to come through. So you're going to want to adjust your either adjust the needle position to allow more gas in, or you're going to want to rejet, as well as getting an open air filter like this uni air filter here. Pod filters, you're going to want to rejet. So normally your pilot jet's the one that gives you the most problems. So if your bike's having trouble starting, you're going to want to change your pilot jet or adjust the needle or the fuel screw in that case. And for the main jet, if your bike's having trouble either from half throttle on or it's really sputtering, having trouble up there, then you're either going to need to clean your main jet or get a bigger one. And in some cases you get a smaller one. Just depends on where you're at and your altitude and everything. So yeah, this is my video. I'll make some videos of the installation video of putting this carburetor on. Now, this carburetor is brand new, but it is the Tokyo Mods edition. So it's their float bowl and their jetting specs and everything. So I'll make a video putting it on the bike, and thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe.